we talked about what direct indexing is, customization applications, and obviously we just touched on the ever-growing landscape of providers, but let's spend a little bit of time talking about what types of clients benefit from this type of solution. Brian, who is best suited for direct indexing? Are there only applications for ultra high net worth investors, or does it go beyond that?
Yeah, I think one of the things we probably should do at this point is, in full disclosure, make sure that it's clear that when you move from an ETF or a mutual fund to a customized SMA and all the securities within it, you do pick up enormous power and value added, but you are adding complexity, okay? You're no longer owning a single security at NAV like a mutual fund, or a security that trades as a single security on an exchange like an ETF. And so that complexity is part of the trade-off. And so to me, for the most part, these types of strategies find good homes, good connections with advisors and clients who have significant assets. It's not always ultra high net worth, but it is a high net worth product. It's not, to date, a mass product for most of these use cases. So you have someone who's got long-term market exposure in their asset allocation with likely $250,000 or $500,000. Now that may change, but I think that's really the sweet spot for these. They may have underperforming SMAs or individual securities, or securities that need to be managed and brought in, that they can use a transition service. They may be concerned or face embedded gains or appreciated securities. They may want to talk about how to avoid increasing their concentration in a specific stock or sector. So, that's not to say that this is every use case or every client, but those are the types of clients that we see advisors bring the value added in these products and really find a great conversation and cements their relationship. And of course, the obvious thing, and I think it's worth repeating, is you need to have clients who connect with tax efficiency, clients who connect with ESG and RI customization, clients who view these benefits, and maybe that's the advisor's job to articulate them as a central part of the wealth management experience. Philanthropic clients, et cetera, clients who may want to see particular exposures in their portfolio, or advisors who create practices. So again, not just the not started in the family office side of Parametric many years ago with institutional sized families. It has continued to move down. It will continue to move down. It will never, I think this is probably another disclosure. We are not claiming, I don't think Cerulli claims or anyone claims, that this eventually dislodges or eliminates mutual funds or ETFs as beta providers. But it will continue to grow as advisors and clients with these use cases on the front of their mind become educated about what the potential, and then the technology and the service models continue to improve.
What about you? How do you view applications for direct indexing, and for advisors that are employing direct indexing, are they using it for comprehensive asset allocation, or is it more pointed?
Yeah, it's definitely more pointed. That's why I have to chuckle. Just to get back to how interested people are in this, I think I handled 4 press calls one day from the media inquiring about this particular category, 2 of which were from Europe, which is weird, because you just don't see much any managed accounts over there. And one of them asked me, well, when will this replace mutual funds? And I had to chuckle because, we're projecting it to be a $700 billion to $900 billion market, in 5 years. Mutual funds, you're talking about trillions of dollars. So I would totally echo what Brian has to say. Let's not lose perspective here. But you do see it used really as a core holding. I would say the most popular use for direct indexing is, we're gonna basically make the core passive and look for active strategies around the satellites. And there's a lot of reasons why you want to do that. You might believe, for example, large cap core asset class is almost impossible to generate alpha in, and there's a lot of academic research that shows that's the case. So why pay for alpha? It's a good way to keep the overall portfolio costs low, because oftentimes that's one of the largest components of a client's portfolio. But then you might say, okay, we're looking at small cap, we're looking at emerging markets. We really believe there are certain managers that can outpace that. So it's really part of a holistic portfolio. And that gets to a lot of questions that come up. It's not the only investment vehicle that will be used. You'll see ETFs and mutual funds used in these portfolios. It lives and can coexist quite well with actively managed strategies. And also within the context of a UMA, it can be the index core of a UMA where other parts are being managed by an overlay portfolio manager. So yeah, it isn't the solution. And it's usually just a really important part of an overall portfolio.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. You know, when I think about direct indexing's value add at its most basic level for our taxable investors, I think about that tax alpha or the value of loss harvesting. And the way I think about this is it's portable tax alpha. So you can use those losses to offset gains from other parts of the client's portfolio, effectively reducing that tax drag. So it makes sense that it would be applied as, you know, part of the overall asset allocation picture and not necessarily the whole. So just to recap what we covered today, direct indexing is a way to unbundle data for clients, providing extensive customization in the way of systematic tax management, responsible investing applications, and personalized universe targets. There are applications for taxable and non-taxable investors alike, and specifically for taxable clients, it can help unlock appreciated underperforming portfolios through tax-efficient transitions, offset concentrated stock exposure and the gains from its sale, and losses can be utilized to help mitigate the tax impact of future liquidity events.